Let's do a show.
So we are here with Joe and Conrad.
People who are here too often.
Yay!
Well, actually, Joe's not been here before.
Yeah.
Partly we've been wanting to start up our old, we used to do those profiles in Geek. I think the last one we really did was Gerald from Anime World Order.
That was not a shtick that lasted long.
I was worried
kinda
it was me.
I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back hard. But yeah,
That's all you.
we've never had Josephine on the show. Uh-oh.
And we never will. Rim died.
Portents.
You're cursed.
But no, we never had Josephine on the show. And also, shameless self-promotion because there's a Kickstarter that we're kind of want you guys to plug a little bit right now.
Go to hustlecatgame.com. Go to hustlecatgame.com.
HustleCatGame.com.
So what is
that? No one knows.
HustleCat?
Hustlecat is a visual novel that's set in a cat cafe. It's kind of got
Is it
this...
a cat cafe like it's a normal cafe and then you can pet cats in the back?
It's a cat cafe where there's food and coffee and cats and cakes.
Or do you buy cats there?
You can...
You cannot buy cats.
You
No?
can adopt cats there, though. They're all up for adoption, like many of the fine cat cafes in both New York and D.C.
So it's like a normal world cat cafe. It's not a
Yes.
supernatural cat cafe.
It's a normal world cat cafe,
Okay.
except for there's a magical curse where
Oh, wait,
all of your...
you just said it wasn't supernatural, and then you immediately talked about a magical
Cafe
curse.
itself
the,
is fine.
the cat cafe itself is fine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's just the people who work in the cat cafe also turn into cats and take shifts as cats. And it's a dating sim, and there's 6 cute people, and Scott is making the world's worst face at me, but it is a dating sim. We are $8,000 away from goal on Kickstarter. Oh, actually, a little less than
A
that.
little less.
It's not
8
that
days
much
left.
monies at all.
And we've got 7 days left, and no, it's going great. We've got some great artists on deck. We've got a really passionate musician who's ready to do these kind of like chill but upbeat, happy tracks.
The
I wanna
kind-
date
the
Avery.
kind
No,
that would be
Bre-
playing on the radio in the cat cafe.
Well, they're kind of actually like a lot of the stuff he's been working on recently has been like Shibuya K influenced, which like I think brings like honestly, if you like Capsule,
Is the
you'll
cat
love
cafe in
Sam.
Japan?
It is in Magic Town, Magic World.
That's
yeah,
good.
It's
All right.
in the quote unquote big city. And some of the great features
there's
besides the music and art are that you get to define the look of your character by like hair length and skin tone.
Oh, you made like a cat character creator thing?
Yeah, you get to pick your pronoun.
Are you a cat?
Now, the pronoun is independent of the look, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So everything is like specifically, non-binary gendered, and you just basically get to do everything like you can in Saints Row 4, which was my favorite part of Saints Row 4. The fact that you could give like the male voice actor to a beautiful, large, female-bodied woman.
Oh, is there voice
Perfect.
acting?
No, there won't be voice
Not
acting.
even like meow, meow.
Wait,
I
Scott,
just-
do you want to do voice acting? Are you
I
auditioning?
Yeah,
just gave you
that's
some
it.
free voice
we
acting.
found our muse.
Get him in the tank.
So can you turn into a cat too, or there's only the other people?
That is a secret.
Okay.
If
That
I
means
date the right
yes.
That
person,
is a
I
plot
learn.
point.
I'll learn how
That
to
definitely
turn into
means
a cat.
yes.
Yeah.
Can you turn into a dog? Are there dogs?
Hustle dog coming to the.
But I mean,
2700.
there isn't a dog cat interaction situation.
$2 million stretch goal, hustle dog.
The only one of these cafes I've ever been to in the real world is a rabbit cafe. And the funniest thing about it was that there were all these rabbits. They were like normal rabbits, but there's one rabbit who was the boss rabbit, Pumpu. Like he was a like manly little rabbit, and he was very social and kind of aggressive and not at all like rabbits I've known. So he would like come over and like check you out and play with you and do a lot of weird stuff. And he literally tried to steal my wallet.
All right. I'll only ask you a few more stupid questions. Is there catnip?
There should be
There
catnip.
should be catnip.
Catnip is good.
So neither of us are the
man.
writers. I'm doing.
Is there like a
programming.
scratching post situation?
They would almost. So again, neither of us are the writers. We're
Oh.
programming, and Joe is on production and
So you
marketing.
didn't
She's
you didn't get
editing, but-
anything from the writers yet? You haven't read what they wrote?
we've gotten a lot of stuff from the writers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't know if there's catnip involved yet.
I do know that a cat eats Chinese food
Okay.
and a cat eats pizza.
There might accidentally be catnip in a lot of Chinese food. That could be a thing.
Really?
Or pizza. Who knows?
What did what
You
is
thought
that
it was oregano, but it was actually catnip. So man, you're high as hell on these dollar slices.
It's a true fact that we took out all of the MSG and replaced it exclusively with catnip.
Catnip, I knew it.
So the interesting thing, and part of the reason why I want to get you on the show for Geeknights as a profile.
Because we need a Thursday episode badly.
Yeah, 'cause I'm going out
and
of
you
town.
happen to be here.
I got to go to a wedding on Thursday, so I'm going to be gone. So
That's why.
Yeah, but also I want to bring Profiles in Geek back. So this is basically an original project, right?
Yes.
So what goes into making a game of this scale? Like just like as a company, like as you guys producing this kind of thing?
Well, I think the first thing I did when I came on the project was make a calendar for everybody. So organization is required no matter what scale of a game you make. Like this past year, we've put out a 35,000 word game, a 17,000 word game, and now this one's looking to be a pretty significant.
That's interesting. You
length
measure it
one.
by words. It's a
It's a visual novel. It's mostly all reading, so the word count is kind of accurately gauges how much effort someone is willing to put into it. The biggest Kickstarter ever for a visual novel localization just happened, and
was that you or someone else?
That was Muv-Love or
Muv
Grisaya?
Love.
It was Muv-Love.
Oh yeah, but
What is
another one
that?
was very
Well, we
popular,
talked about it
and
last
Grisaya rings in at about 400,000 words,
Oh wow.
and people are incredibly excited about it.
Yeah.
So for scale, like I guess like how many words was like Tokimeki Memorial on the PlayStation?
Toki Memo is like a different benchmark because that game kind of had those like RNG elements and a lot of gameplay elements that you don't necessarily find in a visual novel.
I guess think it was like a stat builder.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like that.
I think Joe's benchmark of Grisaya being close to 500,000 words is kind of the benchmark. I know Muv-Love, the series, was close to that. Fate Stay was just like a mind-numbing word count. Like again,
So like
Well, The Hobbit
Okay, so if
is
you-
95,000 words.
Yeah.
So if you play the game through reading really fast, right, and pressing a whole bunch,
Right.
and sort of making decisions rather quickly, like how many words per hour is kind of like typical.
I like. Can we just benchmark everything by
Yeah.
The Hobbit? We all read The Hobbit when we were. How long did it take you to read The Hobbit?
I have no idea how long anything took when I was a kid.
Well, because we just read like 4 freaking Wheel
The
of
Wheel of
Time
Time.
books
Oh
in
my
like a
God.
month, and those are like this big.
Have you guys
I'm
read The Wheel
sorry.
of Time?
I have not.
I have, and I'm so sorry.
How far'd you get?
Book 3.
Oh,
We
When I
just finished-
realized that Perrin and Matt were doing the exact same thing,
Yeah.
the exact same time.
Perrin's
for
way
several
cooler.
books.
Yeah, Perrin's awesome, and Matt just needs to he needs to be quiet. He needs to calm down, be quiet.
Oh, he found a knife. Ah, it's scary for like 3,000 pages.
Yeah, Matt, why are you acting so strange?
Why do you keep doing things just spontaneously without thinking about them at all?
You guys are
This
selling me on
dangerous
this
magic
book.
word.
We make fun of it so much, but we read 4 of them in a row.
And they're this big. They're like huge.
Hey
They're
man,
so
I got
big.
the 4.5 Song of Ice and Fire book, so I feel you.
Whoa.
Like we've all been there.
Yeah, I knew not to start that shit.
I read every Forgotten
Smart.
Realms book except the Drizzt ones.
But yeah, no, there are branching paths, so sometimes people like to backtrack and make different dating decisions. So
Ooh.
it kind of changes based on how much patience you have. We have friends who just roll through these games and like consume them voraciously.
So how do you write or plan something like that in terms of like someone writing a novel? Like a lot of people might use specialized software, but it comes down to there's chapters and there's just one big work. How do you write a branching thing? Like, do you just use Notepad or Word or Google Docs, or like are there tools, like specialized tools?
Some people like to draw it out. I really like, because I'm also in the middle of writing a game for Date Nighto, but I like to plan it out in a program called Twine, which helps you kind of illustrate, like it gives you a GUI for like kind of branching decisions. Special plug, we are talking about branching narratives at GamerX in mid-December. So if you're going to be in San Jose, and I think it's December 10th through 13th.
Sounds cool.
The
That's a
two
good
of
place
us,
to be in December. It won't be freezing cold.
Right?
Yeah.
So the two of us and the writer of Hazelcat are going to be there talking about this kind of thing and talking about what it's like to write like a bi character and, kind of make sexuality decisions based on, who the character defines themselves as. So that'll be neat.
That's
But,
something that always bothered me in any game that ever let you date people is that some options just couldn't
Yeah,
happen.
we were playing Rune Factory 4, and all Rim wants to do is date everyone's mom, and I'm like,
Well,
dude,
no, I wanted to date the dragon, and it wasn't working out. Like, she was being super nice to me, but she wouldn't date me. And then I look online, you can't date the dragon, so that was bullshit. So then I decided to date all the moms instead, and you can't date them either.
Well,
Like,
no,
if you rank the characters I wanted to date, literally everyone I want is at the top of the list, and none of them are dateable. And then you get down to like the stupid warrior girl. I don't care
Warrior
anymore.
Girl it was my choice.
Well,
Yeah.
I know this was actually somewhat of a point of contention for Dragon Age. The character Cassandra, I believe, would only date men and not women.
Oh.
And so this is actually a point
Oh,
of
but that's that carrot. It's
Yeah,
not,
that-
it's not you. It's that right.
Right. But this has actually become a kind of a point of conversation. It's something I'm really interested in tackling on this panel. Is like,
It's like there's a lot of people most people on this earth won't date me. It's like it's like what can I do about it, right?
I mean that half of the population is, well, I don't know. God, you're a good looking guy.
Okay.
I
That's
see you
all
from
right.
over here.
We're thinking about updating the Geek Night shirt. I'm actually wearing our own Geek Night shirt right now. I'm thinking about doing a stretch goal on the Patreon and having a classic Scott and new Scott variant.
Ooh.
Replace the top hair with the face hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
a slow southern migration.
What was that? Oh, was it like Woolly Willy? What was that toy that had like the iron
Oh!
filings in it where you could change the hair?
Oh, you can get that
Yeah.
like any dollar store. That's a great toy.
I'll bet you can get that's a Cracker Barrel kind of thing.
Can you make Scott's face into one of those?
Yes, I
Sure.
could. That'll be a backer reward, I guess. So how much, in terms of a project like this, because I know a lot of our fans and people, they want to do Kickstarters, they do like small projects or anything. How much work do you do for a project like this before the Kickstarter get launched? Like how much of the game is already designed or written or concepted out before someone clicks like launch and Kickstarter?
More work than you expect, no matter how much work you do. As as the person who took it upon herself to write every word that you see in the Kickstarter, like on the Kickstarter page when you go to hustlecatgame.com, gonna plug that again.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work just to put the text together, and then you realize that you need things like demos and assets and reasons to get people to buy a game. As it turns out, they won't do that without anything to look at.
They
So
will if it's a tabletop game, apparently.
Isn't that always sort of weird though? Isn't the point of Kickstarter to be like, hey, I have an idea for something, I haven't done it yet, I need money in order to do it, but the reality is you actually have to do a whole bunch of work for no money, and if Kickstarter fails, then you can't do the thing at all, and you just wasted a bunch of time.
I guess visual novels, I mean, you have two aspects just to the word. You have to have visuals and you have to know what the story's about. So, like, you see a lot of visual novel Kickstarters, and all they've got are, these are the 5 cute characters you'll get to smooch. And it's usually like 5 hot dudes. Sometimes you're a dude, sometimes you're a lady. But usually for visual novels, you'll just see, like, the 5 hot dudes and which members of the band they are. And also, you're a high school girl who's very scared.
Because I've noticed that with tabletop Kickstarters and a lot of other kinds of game projects where people will kickstart their idea and they've literally done no actual work up to that point. And those games, people back them for some reason, but then the games are terrible.
It's so tough because, like, on the one hand, I feel like you're trying to mitigate your risk of taking on a big project with no funding. But all you've got is an idea to start with. You don't want to start doing work on something that you're not going to be able to fund and waste your time and effort. So you want to start a Kickstarter with not a lot of work done. But as someone who's going to kickstart something, why would I kickstart something if you haven't demonstrated to me that is definitely going to happen?
Yeah, I guess all of my friends who are trying to make tabletop games have just like workshopped it to death at Gen Con. They've been working for years just, tweaking the text and getting people to test play and like that. I think the effort pays off exponentially. So the total goal for our Kickstarter is 25,000. We're way above average for asking price for visual novels. You'll see them,
But you
like,
have a proven track record, right? You have succeeded in the past many times.
yeah.
We launched a game that we kickstarted, and we did so within a year of the Kickstarter, and that is a point of pride for
That puts you
for
in
all
like
of us.
top 1%.
Honestly,
easily.
I couldn't, and I mean, I will throw it to Joe here because like I would say she was responsible for ensuring that happened. But I'm incredibly proud of that. And then we made We Know the Devil with AV in 10 to 12 weeks,
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Whoa.
We ship, man, and it's a point of pride for me.
Yeah. It's a
12
point of pride
weeks
for
is
me, too.
crazy.
It should be.
Yeah, and it just requires organization, and like in terms of my job, it comes down to sending out an email a day saying, "Where's my stuff? Where's my
Why
stuff?
are people
Where's
so
my stuff?"
bad at that? Why? It seems like one of the most important business skills in the world is, can you read and respond to emails in a timely fashion? Like that gets you already above like 4/5 of the population.
I'll tell you right now, I'm terrible at it. Man.
I know
If
you
she
are.
wasn't sitting next to me, like it wouldn't get like she, this collaborative partnership between us, I think is like just the dopest. We're moving so fast right now, and it's only because Joe's here to wrangle all of us.
Well,
shit heels
Yeah,
into
12
shape.
weeks is insane, right?
Yeah, it was
that's
nuts,
ridiculous.
dude. I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
Well, wait, were you cheating and like working at night like you do?
Yes.
He was working
my
last
God.
night. We went out.
So it really took
We
you
went
like
out drinking last night, and then they're like, "Okay, we should go finish the work we're working on."
I was up until 2, finishing that
Uh,
up. We had to ship a offline binary of the German translation of Starfighter Eclipse coming very soon. It is
Oh,
integrated.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be up. God, very very soon.
Very soon.
Are you going to be working tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't
we
do
had
that.
we have to do it.
don't
For
have
what it's
to.
worth. Running a small, like, no business is profitable in its early years. Like, not a single one, unless you're just doing insider trading and running
No, we could
mad
do- that sounds good.
investment scams,
That
which we're
sounds good
not.
too. We can do that.
We're like an honest, legitimate company. We make and sell products. And it's very difficult for small businesses in particular, and we're no exception.
Well, especially
And,
because you didn't get like $5 million in seed capital
yeah,
to
certainly
start.
not. Because and
Because
honestly,
then
I
you
wanna-
got to do what someone else wants.
Exactly. I want to touch on this point too. Is the trend in games and the way games get made? I find very disheartening. I wanted to make games the way I wanted to make games. I wanted to bring a diverse crew on board to tell their stories, and what I didn't want was some Peter Thiel to come to my house and be like, "Oh yeah, but like, can you fuck these girls?"
Yeah,
Yeah, but can you fuck him?
Is.
Like he's a West Coast VC. Sorry, Peter.
Okay, so yeah, I know who he is now.
But yeah, as a side note, Mountain Dew, if you want us to make a dating sim between 6 different
Yeah.
Mountain Dew flavors and
Hey.
give
Oh
us
my
five
God.
Yeah,
$5
that
million
sounds
dollars
good.
for that.
We do take contract work. Don't get me wrong, but we will not dilute equity. We will take contract work though. So Fanta, get at me.
Yeah, actually, a Mountain Dew dating sim would probably, because Mountain Dew.
Why can't it just be all the beverages? PepsiCo owns like a whole bunch of
No,
different.
you know how
Doesn't
hard it
have to
was.
Just be,
You know how hard it was for Roger Rabbit to have Disney and Warner Brothers characters in it at the same time.
So hard.
Guys, M&Ms. We're not even thinking about it.
red and green.
Oh no, gross. Gross.
You know what I worry actually?
Red goes away for the whole middle of the game and then comes
I don't
back.
care what you worry.
at
I'm
the
still
end.
thinking about M&M's fucking.
What if they crack them?
I mean, even M&M's makes that joke in their own commercials, so
Oh, that's
it's
true.
not really
yeah.
much of a stretch to.
So-
Oh,
I
they
imagine
melt
a
in your
plot
hand,
point.
but not in your mouth.
There's a plot point where someone's colorblind, so they can't tell them apart.
Oh no.
But I also worry, not to rag on M&Ms. I imagine there are properties like M&Ms where the people would say things like, "Oh no, it can't be gay," or "Oh no, they can't. Those two can't date because."
yeah,
reasons."
Lego wouldn't allow it. Right?
This, yeah, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that I want to avoid. Like, I want to avoid that kind of investor influence where it's
Yeah.
like, well, we don't think this demo wants to see like this kind of presentation or this kind of inclusion. And I got no time for that shit. Like, if I'm gonna make this company succeed, I'm gonna do it on my own terms, and that's just how it is. Like,
I wonder
hell
if
with it.
instead of contract, like getting a contract from someone, like they're paying you basically to make an advertisement for them, to do the reverse deal where you buy a license to a property and use it, right? The same way that like IDW buys the license to make My Little Pony comics, right? You could-
It can be hard because that does require a significant upfront investment. We've explored this kind of opportunity before. We, are definitely open to doing partnership stuff where rather than like buying a property and something of that nature, there's like a severe back end split or something like that. That's the kind of stuff we would take on in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I guess it is because I way back I idly started looking to getting licenses to some anime for things just to see like what it would cost, and yeah, that is not feasible.
Well, you
even for-
negotiate, obviously, but yeah, it's
But no, it is not feasible even if you've got money for a lot of properties because there's cash up front and heavy restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
at least from what I could gather. And this is for like unknown properties.
All right, so ostensibly, Rim, you wanted to do this as a profiling geek,
Yeah,
right?
'cause we've
And
never
not
had-
just
So-
sell their game the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But this is fun. But
it's
Joe,
fun.
Who is
so
this person?
you are making these projects, but what's the real you like? So I got to know, what are 3 anime that you like and watched and would watch again?
Oh my god. That is an incredibly tough question.
See, 'cause we're
Well, I
not
mean,
doing-
we know you like anime. We didn't have to ask that question.
But we used to, like, you can't ask the question, like, what's your favorite movie? Because then, like, it's hard for people to narrow it down. It's like, what are 3?
All right.
For me, it's like Utena, Cowboy Bebop, Escaflowne. Bam.
Okay. Off the top of my head, I grew up watching Fushigi Yugi.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I'll never let it
no.
go.
No.
I'll never let it go. I can
That was-
still.
That might have been
sing
one of the
theme
first
song.
anime that did the thing where the theme song comes in before the end of the episode. Sometimes
Well,
really sad shit's
The
happening.
Alien 9 thing?
Oh, that's the other thing.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, Ouran Host Club. Like
Alright.
hands
Mhm.
down.
Mm.
And I'll go past year. I've watched Gachemon Crowds. Still love it. We
Ooh.
started before we started recording. We had a little conversation about Gachemon Crowds. It's just it's cute and it's optimistic, and I like that. Like some anime, they'll do like a mid-season spin and get really grim. Like Hajime from Gachemon Crowds, she stays really upbeat no matter what happens. She doesn't have that moment, like that anime heroine anxiety moment that Utena has, for instance, where she's like, what if I can't do this? I quit. And then half an episode later, she's like, wait, that's why I'm doing it. I reverse quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can fight all these monsters again. Hajime is consistently believes that she and her team can fight all the monsters, even when the stakes are super duper bad.
Mm.
All right. So,
Same question games.
Oh gosh. Okay, I can barely even narrow down 3 games in the past year because we've blown through the campaign for Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time.
oh, Emily and I are going to play the
Uh,
shit out of that
My,
game.
my friends are going to the Netrunner World Championships, and one of them doesn't like to fly, so they're taking the train. And he's like, Scott, can I borrow a controller, USB controller to bring so we can play the game on the train?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. And the best thing is, like, we listened to Polygon's Quality Control podcast, and Griffin McElroy was like, look, this game is incredibly hard. You have to be a good gamer to play this. And I looked over at Conrad and I was like, I'm a good gamer. Did you know? Because neither of us did, apparently.
I knew. She's better than me at Gears and Halo. I got nothing, man.
2, Dropsy the Clown.
I don't even know what that is. Tell me about this.
I dig a point-and-click adventure game, but I tried playing the re-release of Grim Fandango. It was just so old and so slow. Dropsy the Clown kind of hits that sweet spot that Machinarium hit for me, where you solve these like very enclosed, perfect puzzles. The art is cute. The creator of the game, I think, comes from like Something Awful stock, so the humor is very gonzo, but also like a little bit sweet. Like it's about a clown who was raised by like a normal human dude. Think like Superman, George and Martha Kent, and he gets accused of starting a fire that kills his mom. And so he has to go around his town, helping people out with their problems to redeem his character. And one of the actions you can always take is hug. You can hug a tree to make it happy. You can hug a squirrel. You hug various things to solve various problems.
Can the hug ever go badly?
Oh yes, the hug can go badly.
Hug
Like
a cactus.
like if you don't solve someone's problem and try to hug them, they yell at you in a truly devastating fashion.
Mm.
There's also no words in the game. It's all pictograms and
Ooh.
gestures, which I
Yeah.
thought was very cool.
Yeah, but like, and even though there's no words, there's like limited kind of sound effects voice acting, so you can tell audibly when someone's mad at you.
How do I get this game? Is it on Steam or whatever?
It
or-
is on Steam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alright.
And you can buy it from the guy. You can tweet at him. He's super cool. And like the game is just great. You know, you don't really need a guide to help you. And I think the difference between like new school and old school point and click adventures is that the old school adventures would give you a stopping point. And if you couldn't solve this puzzle, you just couldn't keep going in the game. Like I'm thinking of the first hour of Grim Fandango where if you don't have bread to help the balloon animal guy, you just can't proceed.
Mhm.
But Dropsy has this huge map, and if you get stuck at a point, you can just go and solve someone else's
Oh,
problem
that's
for a
good.
moment,
Yeah.
and then it makes you feel good. And there are big, like longer puzzles to solve and very short, discrete puzzles to solve, and you always feel great when you figure it out.
It's interesting. That's an aspect of when you think about all the adventure games. Like a lot of the ones that were really popular were just a linear plot through a story of click to make it continue. But then there's the few, like some of the King's Quest, but not many of them. The Quest for Glories that had that more open world wander around.
I've tried to play some point and click adventures in recent years, but mostly like LucasArtsy ones, right? And I just got facts from the internet because I'm like, screw this nonsense. Anything I don't remember from my childhood, I don't have time for this.
Right. I just
but
remember the
Dropsy sounds good.
The most frustrating point for me as a point and click adventure enthusiast was playing The Longest Journey and having to suffer through the travel time of going into the police department, getting a can of soda, and then actually having to go 15 minutes through various screens in the game to go to a paint can shaker. So you could shake up the soda in a paint can shaker, go back to the police department and give it to a cop just so he busts open like a foamy soda can. It was infuriating.
Police Quest, you had to actually get in the car and know your way around town.
Yeah, you had to go in the elevator, know which floor to go to your office.
Rim, I'm not trying to put you on blast here, but you can't venerate Quest for Glory 2 and then complain about maze traversal in Police Quest.
Ah.
You cannot.
But at least in Quest for Glory 2, well, I mean, it was the DRM of the day. Like, that maze was unsolvable unless you had the physical map. That's how they did DRM. But
Okay.
2, the game did a turnabout, because if you play Quest for Glory 2 to the end, there's a point where because once you get somewhere, you can just click and get there. You don't have to ever, like, go in the mazes again. But later in the game, something happens, and you click to go somewhere, and suddenly the game shows you in the middle of the maze. You're like, what? And then there's stuff going on.
That was cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was dope.
Quest for Glory 2 had its problems.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
It was the best.
Yeah, it was so good.
Those games were more like stat builders, though. There was a lot of
I know.
game going on.
Yeah, and I think I could only play them when I was young. But
I could play them again. Quest for
Anyway.
Glory 2, I could play again.
I think I'm still on the hook for one game, so I'm going to plug Black Closet. It's the new game by the team that did Long Live the Queen, which is a stat builder game.
Long Live the Queen was good.
And it is fantastic. It's very like in the mood Utena-esque. You play the president of the student council of kind of like a fake world girls academy.
So am I a guy or a girl? Does it matter? Am I toga?
You are a girl.
Okay.
You're definitely a girl. And you have to save the reputation of your school and the reputation of the student council. And like various small scale problems happen, and you have to send your minions to go solve the problems for you.
So you're Nanami.
Yeah. So your minions have various stats, and you use them to different effects. So sometimes you question a girl who you think stole like another girl's, homework, and then the girl like seems suspicious, and after that you can harass her or you can stalk her and see what she's up to. But if you get caught, the consequences hurt, like they burn the student council's reputation.
Oh, but you're not actually stalking, a minion is stalking.
A minion
and then
is
coming
stalking.
back to you with information.
Yeah,
Right.
or failing horribly. The whole thing works off of a series of stats and then D20 dice rolls. It feels very satisfying when you win, and it feels very devastating when you lose.
Oh, so it's got more randomness than Long Live the Queen? Because
Yeah.
Long Live the Queen, it was like, if your stat is up to here, you're going to succeed, and if it's not, you're not, pretty much.
Right, yeah. So it has a little element of randomness, and then you can also, like, it has a bit of an RPG element too, so you can level up your minions but very, very slowly. So you have to be very deliberate. I've heard from a couple people that it takes like at least 3 runs before you feel super comfortable with, how you're managing your team and how you go about solving the various crimes. It's amazing though. The experience of playing it is just so satisfying.
That I could be into that. You could be like, what's her name in Yurikuma, managing the invisible storm.
All right, so obviously you're a nerdy person. No one on the show would not be a nerdy person. What are you into that is not nerdy or unexpected?
I collect handbags.
There you go.
I collect brand name handbags, and
Like the really expensive ones?
not the really super expensive ones, but my handbag collection is more expensive than my clothes and shoes collection combined. Oh gosh, it may be more expensive than my Pokemon
Do you lock them up
collection.
in lucite and protect them for future generations?
No,
You actually use them to carry things?
Yes, I use them to carry things. I get them super messy. I spill drinks in them. Like I spilled a beer on myself right before we started recording. So
Do you care about like the bootleg ones, or is it got to be legit?
It feels better if it's legit and mid-range than if it's bootleg and like high scale. Though I have been told, I'm for the record, I'm Taiwanese, And my family insists that if I ever want to visit, I don't have to pay for a plane ticket. I should just send them a bunch of Coach bags, and they'll sell them on the street for 3 times the price to pay for my airfare.
Wow.
So maybe that's where the legacy comes from.
Oh wait, so you could just buy legitimate ones
Right.
at the legitimate price,
Like at outlet stores.
right?
and then
but
resell them.
legally buy real ones,
Right.
But they'll resell over there for more money than you paid.
An Abercrombie and Fitch T-shirt will sell for $100.
But like customs won't stop you. Bring these over.
They might.
Yeah, that's some interesting.
T-shirt might be easier, but yeah, it's tough.
Because
It's
I
like-
mean, you guys don't really need this Kickstarter action if you got this side job there.
No, we want to get out of we've sold bags on on Canal Street for a long time. We're looking to move uptown, man.
So what is you have this big hand. What are like your favorite handbags? Like the ones you like to use the most often. The
Okay,
coolest ones?
so this is where the nerd stuff comes back in.
Right. And
well,
what
yeah, because you got to be a nerd about this.
and what makes these ones better than the other ones?
I measure everyone by how precisely my current devices fit into them.
Ooh.
So I have a Marc Jacobs bag that I bought entirely because my MacBook Air 11-inch fits perfectly inside the slot. No extra space. My current like little backpack, same reason. I have like an iPad mini and I have several handbags that perfectly fit it.
So if you buy a new iPhone and it's a different form factor, does that change the ranking?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, no, absolutely. I get different bags. I have to size out the pockets. It gets really insane, and that's probably why the collection is so big.
Is there like a bag community you're in? It's like trading or like forums online where the bag people are hanging out?
I suffer with my own shame.
Okay.
That's not shame. That's nerdery. It's
not
a
bad.
nerdy thing. So what's the worst one? You feel like you have one that just like really sucks?
Yeah.
Like a bad handbag?
Yeah, it's hard to open. It's really stiff. It sits weird on my shoulder and kind of hurts my skin sometimes when I wear a tank top. So, yeah, no, that one's rough. Try before you buy.
So in terms of regular old American TV and movies, or at least American-ish, like what's a good movie you've seen recently that you would advocate other people seeing?
Am I allowed to say Mad Max Fury Road?
I was assuming you were going to say that because no movie has been better than that since that came out.
No, absolutely. And I will say, all of my favorite movies this year have involved Fury in some way. Mad Max Fury Road, Furious 7.
Oh.
I cried like a baby.
Well, because it got all sad and real, I heard.
Oh, it was super real. And if you've watched them from the very beginning, and I did a marathon, 1 through 7, including Tokyo Drift. And man, that build up, the way they dealt with Paul Walker's unfortunate death, like just incredible.
Spoilers. Oh my god.
Of course, Mad Max Fury
But the
Road.
guy died, not the actor.
Yeah.
No, not the character.
The actor
not the
died.
character,
Yeah,
the
the
actor.
human
that,
died.
that shows what I know.
The human is dead.
Very sad, actually. Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gosh, Inside Out comes out on DVD next week. I've had it pre-ordered since the day that I watched it.
I only saw it recently. I was on a plane and I watched Mad Max 1 and then I watched Inside Out.
And man, Inside Out is just beautiful. Like they perfectly cast Lewis Black as the angry one.
What
And-
if they just like
Oh, there's
handcuff?
Black, yes.
What if they just handcuff
boy.
Sadness though, instead of messing everything up and getting shot away?
Oh, then we wouldn't learn totally important lessons about pubescence.
Yeah, but she might have worked. Like that initial problem might have worked out okay.
Also, is that just what you do with people who tinker with stuff? You put them in handcuffs?
Pretty much.
Mr. Jailbreak Android phone. Is that the plan now, dog?
Well, it's a Sony phone, so measures need to be taken. No, I'm trying to convince Scott to watch Mad Max because he hasn't seen it yet, and he doesn't
What?
realize that it is better than every other Mad Max movie combined.
Oh man, I just watched Beyond Thunderdome
Ooh,
with
I'm in-
actually Conrad Krayling's mom.
Wow.
we
Tell
got
us about Conrad's mom.
Yeah.
we got wine drunk. I shit you not, her name is actually Sigrid Krayling. Her father is actually Siegfried.
Dude, that's awesome.
Those are
Is
hero
it
names
one
in the Wheel of
giant
Time.
sword? Is it like really like bigger, taller than he is?
I wish, man. If you know where that is, please let me know.
Well, no,
Anybody?
Siegfried wielded the ring and turned into a dragon.
I'm talking about Soul
That's even
Calibur.
doper. Where's my ring?
You're talking about the actual Siegfried.
Yeah, of the
I'm
actual
talking-
Siegfried.
I'm talking about the guy who hits you twice over the head and then flips you on your back with the sword in the nuts.
Yes, Scott. I was talking about the historical Siegfried.
I'm sorry, boss. Some of us played Cassandra. It's not the size of the sword. It's how you hip bump a person off a map.
Man, so fun fact. Apparently, like I'm really good at Soul Calibur. At least 2. I didn't really play ones after that.
No, you're not.
But I'm good.
Well, find someone who's actually pro, and you will just not even hit them once.
Well, yeah, but actually good. I'm talking about like Among Us. I'm good at Voldo somehow.
You are better at Valdo than any other character.
Like I don't know how Voldo just synced with me, and that's disturbing.
Yeah, that's because fighting games the GIMP is so terrifying that people just concede to you.
Also, Rim, you got some. I saw your bedroom door was cracked open earlier. You got some shit in there, man. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, I think you're channeling
those,
something.
those bunnies.
Yeah, wow.
Well, they've got some apple treats that our friend Kat got them for a gift, and they're into those things. So they'll grab them and run away with them and hide them somewhere. But then they see me looking, and they run over and get it out of the place that they think I saw it in and hide it somewhere else. But they're rabbits, so I can just see where they're hiding it again. So it's not like they think they're tricking me. I think.
Maybe there is something hidden that they've actually got a good spot, and you don't know that spot because
Maybe
they
they're
hid it when you
tunneling out
weren't
of the
looking.
house.
It's like when I played Wreck Boy and I found all those blocks behind his little trash can or whatever.
You guys get any pet action over there in Brooklyn?
I have 2 cats. They're the world's greatest cats.
Do they
They're
transform
named-
into boys?
Gosh, I'm so glad they don't because they're super sloppy and awful. No, they're. I have the most dog-like cats you will ever see. They greet me at the door. They chase me around the house. One of them plays fetch. They're named Quinn for Harley Quinn and Frank for Frank Castle. Frank Catzel. Canonical Marvel multiverse character Frank Catzel.
Oh, that's the because that's where the all the
Hangs
other
out with
animal
Spider
thing-
Ham
yeah.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Peter
okay.
Porker.
Okay.
I learned about that recently. I was saving that to be a thing of the day. I didn't know that was real. I
You
thought
didn't
it
know
was,
that was real?
I thought it was something someone made up because it's in.
Yeah, someone did make it up. People
No.
at Marvel made it up.
No, I'm talking about the historical. Anyway,
It's old. Spider Ham's been around a long time.
Yeah,
I'm so angry right now.
I do.
Why are you angry?
It's Spider Ham?
Yeah.
That's that. I should be angry. We should all be angry. at
Peter
the
Why?
Porker Spider Ham writes itself.
Yeah, like we should all be angry at the existence of Peter
Dude,
Porker.
I
But it's
saw-
they're hilarious.
I saw the Howard the Duck movie, so nothing will
It's
ever.
second only to
actually-
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl's pretty cool.
Squirrel Girl's the
Squirrel
best.
Girl's
Squirrel Girl's
great.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
back on
the
board.
newer comic
new
is apparently
Squirrel Girl.
amazing.
The Ryan North
Fantastic.
Squirrel Girl? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot that was Ryan North.
I did too.
Oh, so Marvel or DC?
Oh,
Yeah, she got 2 different cats fighting there.
I can't
Oh.
help it. I'm a long-term Batman fan.
Okay,
I
do you
gotta
like
go
any
DC.
DC other than Batman and things that are tied to Batman?
I love the Justice League cartoon series.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
don't like, say, a Booster Gold or
The Blue
a
Beetle?
Green Lantern.
I do love Superman singles. So Superman for all seasons is fantastic. Brian Azzarello's
you want my
Lex
copy of it? You can have
Luthor
it.
comic, fantastic. What else is in DC?
Well, I remember
All right,
Oh, wait,
so you,
wait, hold
question
up.
answered.
Teen
Yep.
Titans Go is great.
Teen Titans Go is literally the greatest Teen Titans. I consider that the Teen Titans canon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Pie song should be playing all the time.
I don't know. I like that peace and love. Peace and
I
love.
dare you to read 80s Teen Titans and tell me what's happening.
Challenge accepted.
All right, so DC, because what is your favorite Batman version of all the Batmans that have existed? 'Cause there's a lot of Batmans.
There's a Bat Ham. I'm leaving the show.
No, there isn't.
I guess Batman's already got Bat going on, so.
Batman
It
the
has spiders.
I mean, there's like Adam West corny Batman, there's Silver Age Batman, there's original Batman who had a gun.
Right. Okay,
There's
so
Batman
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns, like that one
Right.
particular sad old
1989
Batman.
movie Batman.
There's the Mask of the Phantasm, B-Tas, but
Yeah.
serious.
Right.
B-Tas Batman is my favorite.
Okay.
There's a
That's the right
beautiful
answer.
theater around in DC that on one of our first dates, Conrad and I went to go see Mask of the Phantasm,
Oh.
and
Playing
he,
in a theater.
and he
Oh my
fell
God.
asleep.
What?
I was on crunch at the time.
Connor, you realize that you would have known where the Joker came from.
But Mask of the
Watching Gotham.
Phantasm is great. But also like everything in that kind of Paul Dini verse Batman the Animated Series stuff. I don't know if people have seen Return of the Joker, which is a Batman Beyond. movie, but
I
the
didn't know that
unrated version of Return of the Joker, which is set in the Batman Beyond universe, is amazing. And if you
Huh.
are a Tim Drake fan, it will break your heart. And it's so, like, I don't love Batman when he's super duper dark. This is, I would say, gritty detective stuff in a very cool way. And that kid from Boy Meets World kills it.
I could be into that.
Wait, the guy from Boy Meets World is in a Batman movie?
Will Friedle does Terry McGinnis's voice.
Okay.
So Eric. No? Is that
I
his
don't know.
name?
Don't look at me.
The
so the friend.
Yeah,
not-
the cute
not-
best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, he does the voice of Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond, and he is fantastic. Like, he kills it.
Okay. I
And
didn't know
he-
that he was still alive.
Yeah. No, you gotta check out Return of the Joker. It's just absolutely stunning. And you get to see this weird Joker stuff. Of course, Mark Hamill does the voice of the Joker.
Of course.
Yeah, and he's
Well,
phenomenal.
He's fighting about that lately. There was some drama, right? Like,
What?
Yeah, there was some, like, he didn't do it for something and he is doing it for something else. I don't know. There was something weird going on.
That laugh. Like
I didn't know enough about it. So to tell the details.
Yeah, but comics wise, long Halloween Batman for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what is the most recent long novel that you read?
Okay, Conrad's gonna make fun of me, but this book is amazing.
Why not?
It's called Mort, M-O-R-T parentheses E. It's
Who's the author?
Oh God, I can't remember the author's name.
Well, go to Amazon and
It is
find out,
a
Rim.
post-apocalyptic
That sounds good.
dystopian book
Sounds good.
where ants have been planning the downfall of humanity
Sounds even
since Egyptian times.
better. Oh my
And
god.
they finally breed ants with hormones that they release into the air and make all land-based animals sentient and human-sized.
All right, next book club book selection for Geeknights.
I
And
think
so-
that is actually the next book club book.
Animal militiamen take over the world, do a huge purge of all humans, and then
Kill
it
all humans.
goes into this like kind of animal farm but upright
Wait,
walking.
this is the
style
prequel
disaster.
to BoJack Horseman.
Hey Rim, you wanna kill all humans?
Yeah. And there's like an elaborate global conspiracy. They have these beautiful scenes where the only way the animals can interface with ants, because ants communicate via hormones, is that the ants created a translator module that the animals can use, but they plug directly into the hive mind. So it takes like a special animal of certain intelligence to kind of process all the information that comes into them from the hive mind. The best part about this book, though, it's that it's beautifully written. Like, the premise is really silly, and I've been made fun of for
Why
being
is it
like
silly?
a furry.
What?
For
Oh, I can see some furry assumptions, but
Yeah,
I mean,
except so-
ants are not furry.
I think they're
Have
in
you
that.
ever? I mean, is that called an anty? What is that called?
I think that's just furry at this point.
yeah.
it has a
Trying to- the
has an
ants are trying to
exoskeleton.
create a furtopia. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. Much
I-
love, much respect.
But the
Is
writing
there a lot of
is
sex in the
beautiful.
book?
There's there's cuddling.
Okay, I mean, there's a queen ant. What are you gonna do?
is it
It's
wet
how it
cuddle?
goes.
It's
just
Jedi.
natural.
Scott Jedi told us all about that.
Yeah, I mean,
When
what-
he's like, I need more soldiers, we're running out of Bugram, and she's like, all right, come with me. And he's like, where are we going? And then,
to make more bugram. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. I
But
don't see what's
for,
furry
like-
about
this review says, think Orwell's Animal Farm combined with Heinlein's Starship Troopers.
But it's beautifully written. The plot makes a whole bunch of sense. Like, the main character's name is Mort. You know, he's the titular
okay.
character. And his drive is just really easy to empathize with the whole time. Like, it's just fantastic. There's this whole segment where all the animals get to give themselves names, but you have to earn it. And there's this one like sad nerdy cat who wants to name himself Tiberius, but he never ever ever earns it.
Ooh,
And,
this other thing says it's Homeward Bound crossed with a canticle for Leibowitz.
Why does everything have to be crossed with something?
Yeah, right. So, out of curiosity, the protagonist of this book, who or what is it?
He's a cat.
It's a cat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Up,
He-
up.
And there's actually a really cool moment where they talk about the division of pre versus post apocalyptic animals, where the house pets that were neutered or spayed are like subclass citizens
So
in the new society who have to prove themselves, and it's really super intense.
are you both down with the Rick and Morty?
Oh gosh, I haven't seen any yet.
Oh.
I also haven't.
All right, I won't say anything then because there's a segue there that I'm going to leave out because it's spoilers. You should watch Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Scott won't watch it, but you guys will like it. Scott won't watch anything.
I have to watch the World Series in 4 minutes.
Yeah, he won't even watch BoJack.
One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And One Punch Man. Why aren't you watching One Punch Man?
Spoilers, Scotty punches.
Yeah, the most important anime of our time.
I'm not watching One Punch Man because my Japanese isn't good enough to watch TV in the background anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't watch anything in the background ever. I give everything I ever watch or read my full attention, which is probably why I watch a lot less things than everyone else.
Yeah, don't start a game company.
Yeah, just avoid that entirely.
Yeah, it's interesting when you guys have this very entrepreneurial drive because as much as we both want, I mean, we have designed a lot of games, and then at the end of the day, we look at ourselves and we say, I could just go to work for 8 hours a day and just play with the money from that all the other hours.
Right,
of
like
the
it's a
day.
serious question, right? Like it's actually really serious, right? So the reason I don't do what you do is because I'm very, very afraid that if I fail, I'll be homeless, right? It's possible. It could happen, right? And then I see people who have successful startups, and the vast majority of them, I've learned, this is more true over time, is that they're almost all rich people who have no risk of being homeless if they fail. You are not fabulously wealthy.
Correct.
Right? Are you deathly afraid? Or like, how do you deal with it if you are?
So I touched on this last time I was on the show. I've always been a freelancer. I'm very good at being scrappy and finding solutions to problems. Even when stuff got really bad, I always landed on my feet. And you do that long enough, and you kind of just get the feeling that, like, even when things are bad, they'll probably be okay. Also, my billable now is much higher than when I was 20, so that's nice. But personally, it is scary, but it's not like scary like you're standing on the edge of a cliff or you're skydiving scary.
I almost
New
feel
York
like
rent makes it really scary.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I've thought about that a lot. If I ever did something similar, I would have to leave New York like pretty much immediately to make that happen. So, just burn rate wise, but it's almost like I feel like because other people have expressed this in the sentiment that they said a salaried job is very addictive because you get very comfortable with that sort of being there. And people who start freelancing,
I'm not comfortable being there. I'm just comfortable getting money all the time.
yeah,
I will say, as a person who quit her job to work for a gaming startup, I miss that feeling of getting paid
What
all
was your
the time.
job before?
Yeah, well, I will say, to answer your question from earlier, I wasn't as worried about quitting my job and jumping into this like goofy lifestyle because I had 6 years professional experience doing web project management. So in grown-up jobs where the work was very meaningless, but my skills were very meaningful, that's essentially what I'm doing for Date Nighto projects. So like eventually if we go bankrupt and we're on the streets, I'll actually be able to just say on my resume, I was a project manager, and I can jump right back in.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. There's no break in our resumes, So like in the worst case scenario, we'll just get different high paying jobs, and that will be the end of it. Like for us, it's not. Personally, I'm not that scared.
Yeah.
Are you?
No,
I hope not. Cool.
not really.
yeah.
It is very scary, kind of watching my bank account go lower and lower.
Well, I think you're also, Pat, right? You're at the point where you made a game in 12 weeks, right? So that's like you've already, you can actually produce something. You have produced things, right?
Yeah.
I think the scariness for me would come in the before succeeding part.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, as
Right.
much as we talk about this, we've never actually made a vertical slice of a game.
Never made anything.
We made
You make a radio show.
That doesn't take much. You sit around and talk. Anyone can do this.
Yeah, pitch us the Geeknights dating sim and let us know how that goes.
The Geeknights dating sim. You're commuting on. It's everyone's a commuter, right?
it's Scott, so you have 3
your
dialogue
commute is
options
your-
in most
your-
places. That's
You
dumb.
can commute on a
Eh.
train or a car. You can't listen to a podcast on a bike. You listen to Geek Nights, so you can't really talk to anyone because you listen to Geek Nights on the train. You get to work. You go home. There isn't another episode of Geek Nights because we only make 2 a week.
But you know what there is?
And you have to date someone on the train.
An older episode of One Punch Man.
Yes.
Turn it
Yeah,
on.
there's only
Hello
three
again.
There's only 3 or 4 episodes so far. You can watch this show. It's on Hulu and Crunchyroll. The manga I just got the first 2 volumes of the manga just came in the mail. They're publishing it in English now.
Man, just like you haven't watched Steven Universe, you haven't watched
Oh my
Yurikuma.
God.
It's in my queue. It's just sitting there waiting.
Some of these things should go to the top of the queue.
The World Series is happening right now.
The World Series can be at the top. I'll let you have
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's time limited.
I've been
World
watching a
Se-
lot of hockey.
The World Series of what? Yeah. Dude, I only watch hockey too. What's the World Series?
Dude, so what team do you root for in hockey?
CAPS, caps.
Sabres, what's up?
You mean CHOKE, choke.
You know, the Sabres are not the Blue Jackets, so there's that.
Yeah, it's even. Would you rather have a team that's gloriously shitty,
Like the
Blue
Lions?
Jackets,
Like the
or
Lions
the
with their-
Lions,
what the year
right?
when they
or
went
the
winless.
Cubs, where you just never win, or right? It's much worse to be a fan of the Caps. You've got Ovechkin. You get to the playoffs,
I believe
and
in
then
Alex
you cannot win
Ovechkin.
anything. Right, like the San Diego Chargers. Oh yeah, we're really good. No, you're not. You can't get past.
I will
the first
say
round.
I am biased because I did the apartment that I used to rent like 4 or 5 years ago was actually in the building where the Caps have their practices.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could always go upstairs and watch them for free, and they're fantastic on the ice. Like they look great. They do choke in the playoffs every year, and
They're
I know
they're a respectable team.
That's very
I'm not
useful
gonna-
for us Rangers
they
fans.
they
Keep
choked
it up.
against the Rangers.
Keep it up, Caps.
And then you lost to Florida.
Yeah,
There's
'cause
no-
Florida-
there's no ice in Florida.
Florida was playing
no,
weird.
you lost to Tampa. You didn't lose to Florida. Okay, it's very different teams.
Just want to point out that those Tampa games were weird, like really swingy. Tampa was playing like they were playing a sort of like a
Tampa
weird
has
style.
won the Stanley Cup more recently than the New York
Yeah,
Rangers.
but they also wiped out the Red Wings. Like they were surprisingly doing well in the playoffs.
Tampa has been a good team for a long time.
This year-
Florida is a different story.
All right.
The only people I feel
Fair
bad for is the Blackhawks because
Now, the real
last
que-
year was like their last gasp of
Why are
glory.
there two hockey teams in Florida? That's the real question.
I will say I always feel bad for the Bruins because it must suck to live in Boston.
Yeah.
In general.
Every Boston sports team can suck it.
I
Sorry.
mean, I'm okay. You know, a lot
Yeah,
of
right.
people in New York are all hating on Boston. It's like I'm okay with Boston.
I don't know.
It's like
man.
I'm like okay, Boston. Philly needs to die in a fire. All Philadelphia, right? Because I mean, like I've been to Patriots games, right? It's like they got the stupid horn they blow on third down, but I mean they're not awful people.
Look, yes, they
Yeah.
are. They run the score whenever they can. They run the damn
Dude,
score.
that's-
You mean they're trying to win? I respect that.
They're not just trying to win. They're trying to be mean.
Dude, remember, we
Stop them. How come you can't stop them?
That's like
Because
s-
you suck.
That's like saying a bully is just trying to
Why
win
is it a
at
bully
school.
to play a game and try to win and be good at it?
Did
No.
Conrad ever tell you about
Should
the
Al-
RIT
if
hockey
the
team?
Caps are up by 2 goals, should they just stop scoring and just skate around in a circle?
Yes,
No,
because a win is still a win.
and that's why you can't make it past the playoffs in the first round.
This is why we make dating sims. I'll put that right out there.
But no, the reason I hate Philadelphia teams is because it's not about what the teams do, right? I mean, they're just playing the sport, whatever sport
Scott
happens
just
to be.
hates Philadelphia.
The fans are a piece of shit, right? If you go to Boston, sure, some Red Sox
Oh no,
some
Boston
Red
fans
Sox,
are shit.
right? Some Red Sox fans might give you some lip, but they're not going to do anything to you.
Boston
if you go to
Kickstarter backers.
Philadelphia, they're
They'll
throwing
slash your tires.
they're throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, right? They're starting their when they win, they set their town on fire. Who knows what they're going to do when they lose, right?
Boston, I want you to know as a Date Nighto representative, we love your city and thank you so much for your support in our Kickstarter.
You know, Boston, also, you have a PAX, so things are going okay.
You have a pact?
In the worst place in the world.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
harbor zone. Listen, I cannot eat legal
imagine-
test kitchen
Imagine
every day.
PAX
Imagine-
Philadelphia.
Imagine PAX at the Javits.
Oh God, having hosted a couple of conferences in Philadelphia, Philadelphia is a nightmare.
If PAX were at the Javits, I wouldn't go.
How about
Ooh,
PAX?
them's fighting words.
You've been to the Javits.
I've been to the Javits.
I didn't even go to New York
There's a
Comic
train
Con.
that
It's
goes
right
to the
there.
damn Javits now.
But at least you could
There's not even a
fill.
bus that
Still
goes
At
down
didn't-
to
least
the
you could
still
put
didn't
the
go.
whole con in the Javits, unlike in Seattle. And
yeah.
bless,
Yeah.
I loved my time at PAX Prime. I
Oh.
did not love my time trying to figure out even which building I was supposed to be in any given time.
Yeah, we have the luxury of being experts who've been there many times. If this was my first ever PAX Prime, yeah, I would be like,
Because
why?
it used to not be that way.
Nightmare.
Like in all these expanded things, like they split off like one
Like
by one.
the
so we
first year we
learned.
went, they weren't even using the entire main building.
I will say,
So-
marijuana is legal in Washington.
Yep.
I could not find any PAX room.
Yeah.
You're just hanging out with the wrong people.
The funny thing is, so fun fact, many of our friends had never had marijuana before, and we're enjoying ourselves. But there was a moment late at night where we were playing a game. Everyone in the game except Scott had consumed a considerable amount of marijuana, and yet Scott was the one who was having giggling fits and like flipping out and messing up in the game.
It's a
What game was
contact
this?
high.
There was later, you were just giggling. We were playing, it was the last game of Fresh Fish. You were just giggling the whole time.
I was winning that game by a lot.
And you were giggling
I was running up the
hysterically.
score. I had my cards right next to this.
Rude.
There's no better aphrodisiac than good company.
So, Joe,
Any other topic, please.
no. So, Conrad went to RIT with us, and RIT had a hockey team. And RIT was a Division II team, and when Division II disappeared, they were
We were a
pushed.
Division 3 team. There was no Division 2.
They
There
were a
still isn't
2 team. They
Division
were 2. 2 was removed. So they
That was
pushed-
a zillion years ago.
yeah. So
was
that
decades
team
ago.
that was a good 2 team was pushed into 3 because of NCAA rules, because there's no football team there. So there was a game, a famous game, where
Oh.
RIT beat a team from Newman 24-0.
Yes.
Ice hockey.
They continued to score goals as fast as possible without abating. In fact, they played harder in the last 5 minutes. They were trying to get it to 30.
Listen, RIT doesn't have much. All right? We have so little. Just give us this one thing, okay?
I did hear it's easier to get into Harvard if you play ice hockey because
true.
they always lose to Yale and they
That-
cannot be doing that.
What does that say about Yale's recruitment tactics, though?
Yale
Really
actually,
good
They gotta be
hockey.
Yale is
insane,
actually
yeah.
like historically like, because Yale doesn't do all like the shady sports stuff that like Florida or California universities will do to get like A+ sports teams that are like nationally renowned or whatever. But historically speaking, Yale, like the Yale Bowl is there. That is like the home of sports at college is Yale, right? So.
All right.
Old days where guys are wearing fur coats and
Also,
waving those little triangle banners.
also the Yale Bowl is a crazy place to watch football. You should go. Like it doesn't look like anything else. It actually looks like a bowl. It's like
Like a soup bowl?
it's a really weird place to go. I've been there once. It's
Like what kind of bowl? Like there's like
Go look at a picture of the Yale Bowl,
Okay.
and it's like there's just a field, and then there's just a bowl coming down.
But I will
into-
say, Rim, you and Emily have got to visit us in DC at some point because less than 5 miles away from where I live is the ice stadium where both the Caps practice, but also the FBI and the Secret Service have their annual ice hockey face-off.
but we hate both of them.
ah,
I guess I might root for the Secret Service,
yeah, I would rather the Secret Service be competent.
even though they
lately
paid you a visit.
because we need a long time ago.
It's like the Army
Wait.
Navy of ice hockey, but worse.
I've told the story on Geeknights like 5 times.
Okay,
but,
fine.
but
Right.
it happened. It involved a Slashdot thread and a suggestion about DDoSing them with posts on other forums, and it led to an interview.
All right, I got to make a move soon.
Yeah,
But-
Scott's
and
gonna
this
watch
is our-
the-
This is all going long anyway.
Scott's
so,
gonna watch the Mets definitely win the World Series.
yeah.
Who knows?
100%.
Can't say.
See, I'm not from New York, so I'm confident saying, "Oh, the Red Wings will win the Stanley Cup," because that won't curse them. But apparently, if you're a New Yorker and if you say, "Yeah, we're up by 4, the third period will be fine," they'll immediately lose.
So I'm from Buffalo. We weren't even allowed to breathe at those games lest we disrupt the
I
air
didn't
pattern
put
around
on-
the ball.
So Rim, when the year that you met me, right? Do you remember anything about my personal affectation?
Well, which one?
I wore a Mets hat for like 5 years of my
Oh
life,
yeah,
every single day.
because you grew up Mets fan.
Been a Mets. I didn't
Yeah.
grow up one. I've always been a Mets.
You grew up one.
I was
They
born as
they
genetic.
baked it into you.
I have not worn a Mets hat since like 2000.
Did you buy a new Mets hat?
Yes, for the first day I've worn a Mets hat since 2000, over 14, 15 years ago.
I'm changing
It
my
was
Twitter
today.
handle to Scott's Mets hat right now.
You could do that.
I'll change mine to Mets win World Series guaranteed 100%.
Guaranteed 100% definitely.
And my icon will be Babe Ruth pointing.
Babe Ruth was never on the Mets.
So Scott, it sounded like you had one last question.
Right. You need to wrap this up somehow so we can go.
Oh, that's your
Yeah.
that's your question.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
shoot.
I mean, Hustle Cat, we're gonna plug the crap out of because it's you can date cats, and it sounds like you can also be a cat.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's do a plug for that. Gosh.
There's only like a week left, so throw your money in.
Game.com, 8 days left. Please, your support means the world to us. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. And we've made a point to answer every single Kickstarter comment, every single email that's come in.
Oh, are there a lot of them?
What is there has been answered.
Okay.
And we just, our goal is to see more cute games that have meaning
That is my goal.
And we definitely want to see this happen. Please, please, please help us. Also, Batman is awesome.
DateNighto.com, same as always. It's there. Games are on it. You can play them.
So if you had to date someone in the BoJack universe, who would it be? Both of you.
Princess Caroline.
Princess Caroline.
Oh, not Wanda. Princess Caroline's pretty badass.
Yeah, she's the dopest.
Dude.
I had the privilege of basically dating Princess Caroline, so that's nice for me. But like,
I was about to
Bless
make a
you.
much more subtle implication that is true, but you just went full on.
yeah,
so.
no, fuck it. Like,
That's a persona right there.
all right, thank you so much again, guys, for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
And again, per the text on our Patreon, which says, and I quote, "This is super dumb. But if you support us this much, Rim will say your name at the end of each episode after the credits, along with some ultra dumb stinger content. We're talking Rim YouTube likes dumb." So once again, I'm going to read these in money giving order. So I already see something here. So to the gentleman who's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, well, or lady, I don't know, 5th person, my hat is off to you. So without further ado, the patrons of Geek Nights this episode are James David White, Christian Kuntz, Jessica L. Barlow, Mechanical Mind, Rim Eats Poop, Edgar Mendez, William Eisenrose, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, Flame Darkfire, Samuel Cordry, Daniel Redmond, Chris Haddad, Doug Snyder, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. And now I present to you something really dumb. Welcome to the show that hasn't been named, starring Rim and Scott.
And my penis.
Version Alpha 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 1, the first one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're going to start with crazy thing today?
My day was kind of boring. I was real tired at work, and I almost fell asleep.
I saw a guy on the way from my work to the train station. He was a big, tall, fat guy. Not fat, not crazy obese, just fat guy. And he had a top hat with a feather in it. He was walking kind of funny, like the penguin almost. And then when I got to the train station, there was a shorter fat guy with a mustache